No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for October the 17th, 2022. Shout out to the early birds in the chat room. Torvik23, Calvin Bowman, Matt Helms, TJS, Joey Perez, Michael Wayne, Raymond Williams, CC Drink, Philip Sapp. I appreciate you all very much. We are on the road to the 2022 Crown Jewel Premium Live event. Let's get right into this Raw recap. We went straight to the ring with Bobby Lashley. He called out Brock Lesnar. We were starting hot and heavy. Lesnar showed up, not one to back down from a challenge. A fight broke out. Lashley got the upper hand. He speared Lesnar through the barricade. You had officials arriving. Wrestlers were out there to try and break things up. Lashley then tackled Lesnar over the announce desk, continued the attack, and then slammed Lesnar through the announce table. Bobby Lashley making a statement. Nice opening to the show. It got straight to the point. And later on during the broadcast, it was confirmed that, in fact, at Crown Jewel, it will be Brock Lesnar one-on-one with Bobby Lashley in a rematch from the Royal Rumble Premium Live event back in January. Nice job here to set up that match. And then we got started with the in-ring action. We had the OC, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, back in WWE, going up against the Alpha Academy. We had a little moment where there was a face-off between Luke Gallows and Otis, the two big men. They went at it for a while. And then Gable took a cheap shot at Karl Anderson, sent Anderson into the ring post. Otis missed a Vader bomb, and then Luke Gallows got a hot tag. Otis was sent into the ring steps. And then Gable was finished off. Anderson and Gallows hit the Magic Killer, picked up the win here, getting a win. Their first match back on Raw in well over 2 years, since sometime before WrestleMania 36. Made sense here for them to get the win. Solid match to kick off the show. And then we had Judgment Day showing up afterwards. The full crew. Finn Balor was mocking the Too Sweet, said it's the same old crap. Balor said he was the one that started the stupid little club. He made them. He's going to break them. He issued a challenge for Crown Jewel 3-on-3. AJ Styles accepted, but he did not want to wait. He wanted a match with any Judgment Day members, but he asked, will they need to get their mother, Rhea Ripley's, permission? Dominic got on the mic. He was upset. Styles called Dominic a piece of trash, challenged Dominic to a match. Rhea Ripley basically accepted the match for Dominic, said that Dominic will rip Styles limb from limb. And Dominic did agree to do the match, but said he wasn't going to do it just yet. He was not ready. He needed about an hour or so, and then he vowed to beat the piss out of AJ Styles. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, after this feud, do you think we'll see the OC versus Bloodline? Maybe. Although I'm still thinking Kevin Owens will somehow be involved in the match. I would like to see, how about this? I think because we have several factions right now on Raw and SmackDown, and traditionally Survivor Series is all about elimination matches and also about Raw versus SmackDown matches. How about like the OC versus Imperium and a 3-on-3 elimination match? Or maybe the Brawling Brutes versus Judgment Day. Get some Raw versus SmackDown 3-on-3 matches at Survivor Series and have Kevin Owens form a team to go up against Roman Reigns, because you have the whole dynamic between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which would be the logical match to do, I think, having Owens on one side and Sami Zayn on the other side. But where does Sami Zayn's allegiance really lie? That would be the big question. So I think it has to be a team put together by KO. We had footage shown from last week when Seth Rollins beat Bobby Lashley to win the title. Rollins came down to the ring for a promo, and he was gloating about his victory, had the people sing his song, talked about how he was going to beat Matt Riddle in the main event, said that he tapped out at Extreme Rules in the fight pit because it was strategic. He wanted to make sure he could win the U.S. title on Raw. Mustafa Ali showed up, who is getting push number 37. Ali said that he was promised to be next in line by Bobby Lashley, but things change, and now he is turning his attentions to Seth freaking Rollins. But Rollins said Ali will have to go to the back of the line. Well, naturally, right? Ali took off his glasses, took off Seth Rollins' glasses, the little funny glasses that Rollins was wearing. And then Ali said he is Rollins' next freaking problem. Rollins attacked Ali. Ali fought back, and then Rollins sent him into the ring post and took his leave. So Seth Rollins gets the best of Ali here, but Ali has made it clear he is targeting Seth freaking Rollins. I like Ali. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but they've pushed him. They've buried him. They pushed him. They buried him so many times now. I just don't care at this point. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, should the OC get a female member against Rhea Ripley? Hey, why not? There's plenty of people that could fit into that spot. I'm all for it. And you could even do that at Survivor Series if we're not going to do Raw versus SmackDown per se. We could have a fourth person in the OC and do a mixed 4-on-4 match. Although that would be difficult to pull that off if it's an elimination match. If it's a one fall match, then you could definitely do something like that. We had a tag team match. Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, teaming up with Candice LeRae versus Damage Control. Bayley was out there on commentary. I thought that this was a standard tag team match, not too noteworthy. Bianca and Candice were working well. Bianca used Candice as a weapon. Then the bad girls got the upper hand for a while. Io attempted to stop Candice from getting the hot tag, but was unsuccessful. And then you had Candice getting in some moves, but the heels got the upper hand again. Bianca got a hot tag, and then Io knocked Bianca off the apron. Bayley got a kendo stick. Bianca, however, tackled Bayley over the announce desk. Candice was once again the legal woman in the match, but she got double teamed and she was pinned. Damage Control scores the victory here, which is fine. Tag champs should not be losing non-title matches. I feel kind of bad. Candice is now, I think, 1-2 since debuting on Raw, but if she's the underdog, then perhaps that'll work to her advantage. We had backstage Matt Riddle talking about how Ali has guts and said that Ali will get an opportunity if Riddle wins the U.S. title. And then they turned over and saw the Miz. He was hurt. He slipped on water or something, hurt his knee. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to have his match against one Dexter Lumis. And then backstage, we had Cora Jade approaching Rhea Ripley for the Pick Your Poison match on this week's NXT. and Ripley did accept the match. It will be Roxanne Perez versus Rhea Ripley on NXT, and then Cora Jade will face off against Raquel. This is WWE's attempt to try and go head-to-head with AEW, because AEW, for one night only, is going to be on Tuesday night. So don't forget to check out the No DQ recap Tuesday night, a rare Tuesday night recap on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel. A rare Tuesday night Dynamite because of the baseball games going on right now. And Wednesday night, we normally have a No DQ recap of Dynamite, but since there will be no Dynamite, there will be no DQ recap. However, the No DQ channel will have Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys check that out. Talk Wrestling with good old JM Jeff Meacham. And now back to the Raw recap. We had JBL with an announcement, and he was wearing very baggy pants for some reason. I guess because he's from Texas, everything is bigger in Texas. JBL apologized for making his announcement in Oklahoma. Not a fan of Oklahoma. He wishes they were just one state to the south in Texas. He said he despises Oklahoma. And then he started ripping on Rey Mysterio. Remember, Rey Mysterio ended JBL's career in 2009. And he's still upset about that. He said that Rey Mysterio wears a mask because he's ashamed of himself. But a great trade was made. Rey Mysterio was on SmackDown now, as we saw this past Friday. And now there is somebody coming to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown. At this point, he introduced Baron Corbin. He is back to being Baron again. That's the good news. The bad news, he still has the happy Corbin-like music. It might be different music, but it's still the happy Corbin style of music. Also, he has like the worst ring attire I've ever seen. This gives Shawn Michaels' Survivor Series 2002 a run for its money. I know he's a heel and all, but this is some awful ring gear that he has now. Anyways, he had a match with Dolph Ziggler. And before the match, JBL said that Dolph Ziggler has been stealing money for 15 years. Forget about stealing the show. Said that Ziggler would have not made the cut in the Attitude Era. Interesting. And said that Corbin is a champion in any generation and is going to be a future wrestling god. So we had the match, Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Honestly, I think it went on way too long. Basically should have been a squash. You guys know I don't care about Ziggler at this stage of the game. So when Ziggler's getting near falls on Corbin, I'm like, all right, come on. Let's just get to the point here. You're pushing Corbin. Have Corbin destroy Ziggler. I don't need to see a bunch of kickouts with the zigzag and so on and so forth. But yeah, Ziggler hit the Fameasser. Of course, Corbin kicks out. Deep six from Corbin. Deep six never wins a match, or almost never wins a match. It's kind of like the Blue Thunder Bomb. So, predictable near falls in my opinion. Corbin countered the super kick, hit the end of days. Match went on quite a bit longer than it needed to, in my opinion. And to be totally honest with you guys, I'm not feeling the Corbin gimmick. I was getting my hopes up. I thought maybe he'd come back with the old music, the Jim Johnston song, maybe be like a different version of the Lone Wolf, but kind of have that edge. Like he even teased it in an interview, said that Triple H wanted to make him a bit more of a badass. Well, this was not it. Not feeling it. JBL was doing good on commentary for this match. Maybe better than Kevin Patrick, but yeah, I'm not feeling this pairing so far. We had the Miz in the trainer's room, and Byron Saxton, who is now a backstage interviewer, he said that several people working backstage said that the Miz's whole deal was staged. The Miz staged his accident. Miz was very upset about this, questioning Saxton, but then Johnny Gargano yelled out that Dexter Lumis was in the room. Miz jumped up, and as Bobby Heenan would say, it's a miracle. He was all healed up, and I guess that means the match is on. We had a little segment backstage with MVP and Omos. MVP was praising Braun Strowman. They're going to be on SmackDown Friday. Smell the ratings right there. Omos is going to be looking down on Braun Strowman. Omos fears no man. Monsters are not real, but giants are, according to MVP. There you go. Omos is going to be on SmackDown. Boy, oh boy, how exciting. And then we had Cameron Grimes making, I think, his Raw debut, talking to the OC, looking for a couple of partners for NXT on Tuesday. Again, they're trying to build up the numbers going up against AEW on Tuesday night. And because Gallows and Anderson, they're all about the money, they accepted the offer. They know Cameron Grimes is a man of great wealth, and they accepted the offer. So you can either watch AEW Dynamite or you can see the OC on NXT. Your choice. Next up, we had AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. And you had Rhea Ripley whispering some sweet nothings into the ear of Dominic, giving him some advice. Dominic was getting his ass handed to him right off the bat. He had to slip to the outside of the ring. Rhea Ripley was distracting Styles, daring Styles to hit her. Dominic then took advantage of the situation, but then Styles regained the upper hand, threw Dominic over the barricade. Rhea Ripley interfered again with the referee distracted. Dominic hit a tornado DDT. Styles kicked out of that. And then Styles applied the calf crusher. Dominic got to the ropes. And then Dominic was pulled to the outside of the ring by Judgment Day. Somehow, the referee's allowing all this outside interference to happen, or the referee's blind, whatever. There's a standoff, and then the referee's distracted again. And Rhea Ripley grabs Styles' foot. So she interfered like 3 times in this match, and then Dominic rolls up Styles and picks up the win. So there you go. Dominic defeats AJ Styles, thanks to multiple instances of interference from one Rhea Ripley. I guess this was fine, but another distraction finish. And I'm thinking, like, at what point does the referee just throw them all out? Why are they even allowed out there in the first place? Moving on here, we had Johnny Gargano approaching The Miz backstage, telling The Miz that he knows the real story. Apparently, Miz has been doing something to Dexter Lumis. And Gargano was advising The Miz to tell people the truth about Dexter Lumis. So we had what was supposed to be Dexter Lumis versus The Miz. If Lumis won, he would get a WWE contract. So a guy who doesn't have a WWE contract is coming out there with a full entrance, has a Titantron, has music, but doesn't have a contract. Okay. Anyways, there was no match because as Dexter was coming to the ring, Miz jumped him from behind with a steel chair, gave him the skull-crushing finale on the chair, and I guess big bad Dexter Lumis could not be cleared to wrestle. And then we had a backstage interview with Damage Control. They gloated about getting rid of Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Said they'll continue to dominate. And I guess Bianca Belair will challenge Bayley one more time, or Bayley will challenge Bianca Belair one more time for the Raw Women's Championship on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw, because since Bayley was not pinned in the ladder match at Extreme Rules, she's allowed to get one more title opportunity. Guess that's how it works. Gargano was backstage again with The Miz, and this time he had a whistle, and he was threatening to be a whistleblower. So I guess this is the intrigue to see where this storyline goes. Miz is holding something back about Dexter Lumis. Guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm not really caring about it this much, but I suppose I'll give it another week and see where they go with it. They did the whole bait and switch, advertise a match and then don't deliver on it, but guess it's all part of the story, and we're going to see what happens next. Let it play out, yada, yada, yada. Then we had the return of Elias. Elias was in the ring. He was ready to do a song. He feels great to be back. His younger brother's career tragically cut short. He said the show must go on. And then Matt Riddle interrupted with bongos. Said he's a huge fan of Elias. Then he asked the question. He asked if Elias wanted to hit his bong. And Elias was not too amused by this, wanted to do his song, told Riddle to take a seat. So Riddle did take a seat, and Elias started playing on his little synthesizer. Riddle was goofing off, and then Seth Rollins interrupted. So that's the whole gimmick, with Elias. They interrupt his performances. I guess he's a babyface for the time being. Responding to Torvik, he had a beard. Wasn't a huge beard. I mean, he only had like 2 months to grow it, but yes, it was indeed a beard. So we had the U.S. title match, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. Riddle applied a triangle choke right away. Rollins got to the outside. Elias was at ringside, which I hate to say, kind of a giveaway that he was going to play a role in the finish. So in that regard, like, it kind of took away, as far as I'm concerned, the interest in this match, because it's like, well, we all know Elias is going to just do something at the end. Kind of like with Bayley out there. It's like when they're out there on commentary or standing out there, like it pretty much gives away the finish of the match. And at least for me personally, I just lose interest. My man Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, say yes to no DQ, hit like and share, hashtag stick to my shtick. This Elias segment has Vince written all over it. This segment was the old regime. I mean, that's Elias's gimmick, doing the singing and being interrupted. I mean, it is kind of like rehashing the old stuff, but Ezekiel wasn't cutting it, so back to Elias. Anyways, Riddle got several near falls on Rollins, but then Rollins was able to come back, and it was going back and forth a little bit. Riddle once again applied the triangle submission. Rollins kept trying to break out of it with power bombs. Even went for a pin at one point with a sit-down power bomb, but Riddle kicked out and kept the hold on. Rollins finally got to the rope, got to the outside of the ring, but then he tried to get himself DQ'd, daring Elias to hit him, just like Rhea Ripley was daring AJ Styles to hit her. And Riddle took advantage of this, hit a draping DDT, went for the RKO, but Rollins was able to push Riddle away. And as he was doing this, Elias got back into the ring at the same time this was happening, and Riddle bonked into Elias. Rollins took advantage of this, hit the stomp, picked up the win. So the heel, even though he's outnumbered 2-1, somehow picks up the win here. I mean, talk about stupid baby faces. 2-on-1, and the heel still outsmarts them and picks up the win. So after the match was over, Rollins hit a stomp to Elias. He was going to hit a stomp to Riddle on the United States Championship, but Mustafa Ali makes the save. And now Ali closes out Raw standing tall. Like, I mean, the guys should have been pushed better a long time ago, but I think it's too little too late. Like, to me, this is very anticlimactic when the show ends with Ali. This is like Dynamite ending with Daniel Garcia or Wheeler Yuta. Although, to be fair, those guys haven't been like buried for 6 months and are all of a sudden getting pushed. You know, to Tony Khan's credit, he's trying to make something out of those guys. But yeah, I mean, this is worse because Ali has been pushed, de-pushed, pushed, de-pushed. I mean, I just don't have the emotional investment in the guy, unfortunately. But yeah, they're building up Ali versus Rollins. I mean, guess it's somebody for Rollins to beat. All in all, I was not that impressed with this Raw. I was kind of bored with it. The opening segment was the best thing on the show, the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley setup. I thought that was a good angle. And the Judgment Day stuff was fine, but, you know, it's really becoming overkill with the distraction finishes. And there were several matches where it was like really obvious how it was going to end. So it took me out of the entire match. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, would you have liked it more if Seth won cleanly? Honestly, yeah. Honestly, if it was just a hard fought match back and forth and Rollins won, I would have been better with that. I would have felt better about it. But yeah, the Elias stuff, it was just very predictable how it was going to end with Elias doing something. You know, I thought maybe he was going to do a heel turn, but then they did something else instead. Jeff Meacham, unfortunately, I cannot answer this question because I have not seen the new Beavis and Butthead episodes, but thank you for the super chat. Movie was very entertaining. I did see Beavis and Butthead do the universe. That was very well done. I have not seen the new shorts yet. I hope to get to those soon. Anyways, I give Raw C+. It was okay, but I do think it was one of the weaker episodes of Monday Night Raw since Triple H has taken over. Now, interestingly enough, Triple H was not at the show this week. I mean, he was still going over things with people, but he reportedly tested positive for COVID and wasn't there physically in attendance. I don't know if that had anything to do with this show's quality or not. I mean, I would think it was pretty much intact. Triple H can work remotely, and Road Dogg was running the show. Maybe that's why I didn't think it was as good as usual. Maybe Road Dogg had more influence, and that's why it lacked a little bit. But yeah, not the best episode of Raw. I think it was mostly skippable. I mean, really, the only segment I would say like that you should watch, go out of your way to watch if you didn't see the show, was the Brock Lesnar segment. Everything else, I mean, you could probably skip it and not miss much. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. Says, I'm disappointed with Corbin. Thought he would be like stock type guy, suit and the throwing his wealth in your face. What the hell was that outfit? I mean, the outfit was terrible. And I was, like I said, hoping for something more like his original gimmick with his old music. or just something other than like JBL 2.0. And he's even doing the fall away slam, and he's doing the clothesline from hell. Like, I feel these gimmicks are always doomed for failure when you have a heel doing a copycat of a previous heel. Like, I feel like they never work out long term. Like, give me an example of where it did work out long term. I'm curious if anybody has an example of where it worked, where a new, not really a new wrestler is Corbin, but you have somebody basically copying moves from a guy from a previous generation, and that guy went on to be a major star. Give me an example. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Says, seriously, if The Rock is going to have a match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, when should they start the build-up? Survivor Series? Royal Rumble? I would not wait too long, but I do not want them to pull the trigger too soon. If The Rock is committed to it, then yeah, you want to start thinking about it internally. But I would not announce anything until after the Rumble, because if you announce The Rock before the Rumble, that will pretty much give away that Roman Reigns is not losing. I mean, we all know he's not losing anyways, but like, save it until after the Rumble, because then you're going to take away any emotional interest in Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble match, because everybody's just going to be like, well, he's going to be facing The Rock at WrestleMania. Why do we even care about this match he's doing at the Rumble? I would definitely wait until after the Rumble, but not too much longer after the Rumble. JM Jeff Meacham with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. Says, who's excited for the No DQ anniversary on 11/8? So I did put up the graphic at the beginning. NoDQ.com's 24-year birthday. Also, the 20-year anniversary of No DQ Media starting. Good old JM launched that back in 2002. We're going to be doing a very special Q&A. In fact, you could say it will be the greatest Q&A ever. November 8th, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Bookmark it. Put it down on your calendar. Coming up very soon. Myself, good old JM, Jeff Meacham. Greatest Q&A ever. Greatest wrestling Q&A ever. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much again for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Have a great week, everyone. I will be back Tuesday night after Dynamite to recap the show. Stay tuned for that. Tune in for Jeff's Talk Wrestling Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.